Wednesday's podcast. I'm going to have different types of topics, and today, in general, this is a podcast or about becoming your authentic self, about love towards yourself and your life, about abundance, about freedom and happiness in your life. I'm Eric. I'm a life coach and a hypnotherapist, and my mission and goal in life is to make as many people as possible happy by means of finding and eliminating your unconscious limiting beliefs, things which hold you back, not serving you because of your experience, because of what you've lived in your past, because of trauma maybe, because of beliefs you formed as a child, for example, or learned something from your parents or just from your experience, which now isn't serving you any longer. And by finding out what those beliefs are, and by eliminating them, you have the opportunity to reprogram your mind, to program into your mind positive beliefs which do serve you, which help you to live up to your fullest potential. And today's or my weekly podcast is about insights or thoughts on what I have derived during my own experience with my clients and with myself. Today I would love to share with you some insights which happened or which I gained through my own kind of retreat. I made an experiment this last weekend, where I was with myself for 2 days and 2 nights. I just had a sleeping bag with me and a knife. I also had water and about some coins of about €2, I think. And the goal of this journey was to come back to the roots, back to myself, listen to myself, listen to my intuition. If I'm actually able to listen to my intuition, if I'm able to feel it, and to find out if it's possible for me to manifest things. This is was a little experiment where it was about surviving in the first place, although I wasn't very concerned about if I'm going to survive those 2 days. Of course I would. Unless something really terrible could happen, though that is quite unlikely, because I am here on Tenerife. This is not, I live I live in a place where I'm able to go to a shop to buy something to eat, to buy something to drink. So even having €2 is enough. Maybe even not buying any food would still be fine. I think it would be dangerous if I didn't have any water and any source to get water. So that is fine. There are things which, when people really organize silent retreats or retreats at which people don't eat, probably also don't sleep. But I didn't want to have anything organized. Part of my experimental journey for those 2 days was actually that I am really completely by myself. It wasn't really recommended by some of my friends, hypnotherapists, who said that it might be dangerous to go out there like that alone. But I think it's fine, because I wasn't planning on withholding or not eating, drinking, sleeping, talking, all of that, because if I was, that would be probably kind of hard. So I learned a few things about myself. First of all, I learned that those 2 days was like a small life. It's like a resemblance of actual life with a big goal, like with which your main basic needs need to be covered, right? And then when those are covered, that's when space for further development opens up. And with further development, I mean you can only relax and do something fun if your basic needs are met. And then furthermore, if you cover that, you can then maybe think about spiritually developing, evolving, right? So I learned several things about myself. One thing was, and that is very personal, right? This is just my my experience, sorry. And that is very personal. So I think some of the things I have realized for myself are probably general things for us humans, but some others are very, very personal. So on one hand, which is quite personal, but maybe it resembles with you, so I'm happy to share, that I find myself very much trying to give myself huge goals and trying to pursue huge, almost impossible goals in order to prove myself to myself. On one hand, it can be very good and great. Successful people think big, right? You definitely heard about the concept of thinking big, and the bigger you think, the more you achieve, which is great, right? On the other hand, though, what can happen if you do this, you don't realize your actual life, and you can end up rushing through your life, just pursuing the goal and trying to do everything and all it takes to get there, no matter what. And that is dangerous. It can be dangerous. It has to be healthy. The goals have to be healthy. That's a very important aspect of setting a goal. How healthy is a goal? How realizable is it? And what purpose do you have behind that goal? So, for example, in coaching, if you're coached by me, we are always setting a goal for you. We are formulating a sentence with which we have to check several points, like how achievable is it? When do you want it to be achieved? A deadline, and how do you know that you have achieved it? And there are more. So, but what I realized was, if I try to pursue a goal which is almost impossible, I tend to oversee the actual life, which is right here, right now. And I think that a state of flow, that is what is the biggest, the greatest good that we can have in life, that we can achieve with our work. And that is to all the workaholics out there, those who burn out at work. If you burn out, it means you are not in flow. It means you are not doing what your heart desires, your sacred desire of your heart. You're not really enjoying your work, and that is not to parrots, and that is not to talk your goals or work down. It is about being aware every day being aware, is this what I do? Is this enjoyable? And do I have a choice to change that? Because we actually always do, although most of us think we don't, especially people who burn out. And I was one of them, so I totally, several times, by the way. So I know the symptoms, and so I'm here to help. And so in this experiment, I realized, and I wrote something down so I don't forget. It is important, if you have a huge goal, which might not feel achievable fast, which is fine, absolutely fine. Important is that that goal resonates with you, with your deepest desire. So it can be enough, and that is my experience, and I want to share, to find the most important thing you want to do now, which will be an incremental step towards that goal. And it is important, while doing that one step, to actually enjoy it and to have a state of flow. Because our life consists of those moments, of those states. If you can achieve the state of flow, and the state of flow is the state at which you really fully dive into work and you love it, up to the sense that you forget about eating, forget about sleep, forget anything your body might need, because you're so involved in that work, you love it so much, it gives you so much joy. That is the state of flow. And that work is something bigger than you are. You know that. And that is part of the fun, right? It's important for us as humans to be involved in something which is bigger than ourselves. And also to be connected to something, maybe to other people who are part of this, and of something bigger than us. But that is what there is. That is all there is. All there is the moment now. And now talking to you. That is what I do now. And that is the best place I can be now. So that's what I realized in several occasions on those 2 days, in that mini life I experienced. And that is so fulfilling. So instead of trying to go to the next village, which would be several kilometers away, several dozens of kilometers away, which would probably be possible, but what for? Right? Instead of doing that, instead of pursuing such a goal just for the sake of the goal and for the sake of proving to myself that I'm able, and I've done that many times in my life, many times, where I see that was not my heart's desire, that was just something inachievable I just wanted to achieve, and I achieved it. Like becoming an engineer, for example, but that is not my thing. Becoming a hypnotherapist, I enjoyed every single step on the way. So find your truest desire first, and then set the goals. That is my takeaway message from that. And on that journey, the 2 days journey, I realized, instead of going to that next bigger city, I can just see what is here. What is here around me? There are so many places I haven't visited in the area where we live, because we go from A to B, A to B, A to B every day. maybe C, to get some bread, and A to B would be home and school, to bring our child to school, and then maybe we'd go to the beach one day, another day we'd go to do the grocery shopping. That's basically it. And now having 24 hours, 48 altogether for myself, without any plan, without any idea where I'm going to go, any, expectations, I decided to go somewhere I haven't been before and explore places I haven't been before. And so yeah, let's go on. About manifestations, that's the other message I would like to share for today. So I'm an engineer and I'm somebody who believes what he sees. And I talk rather about things I can prove. I believe things. If somebody tells me something, if they can prove it, basically. So that is an engineering mindset of mine. However, I'm so much more open now for the spiritual life and possibilities we have as humans. And I think that there is something with the manifestation I have experienced so many times in the last half a year, maybe quarter a year even, where I shared this with my colleagues within a close circle, where there is absolutely, I can be absolutely sure that there is not going to be any, criticism. Probably that was probably something I would fear when sharing this. But so here I am, openly, just let me share this with you. So and you just let me know, please, freely, what you think. There's been several times where I had a wish and I would actually feel the wish, feel it come true, visualize it completely, and then give thanks that it has been fulfilled the moment when I wish it. And then a month later, it actually was fulfilled. So an example would be, for my birthday, there were 7 candles, and I made 7 wishes, and I blew out each candle for each wish. And the first wish was that we find an apartment for us to live here in Tenerife, which was very difficult to do in summer 22. Many people told us, people who rent apartments and who manage that told us that this summer was intense in terms of so many potential tenants, so many people looking for an apartment. And as a young family of 3, we wished to have an apartment with 2 bedrooms, and I manifested, I visualized an apartment with a pool, with a huge big refrigerator and a smart TV. Those are 3 things I really wished for an apartment to have. Before that, we moved 2 times and we had less than that. Okay, so the first apartment was something like that, much more expensive. We found it on booking.com, or no, it was Airbnb, sorry, but much more expensive. And now we had this restriction of 800 euros in this case, and we found it a month later, after which I made the wish, but we found it within 2 days of looking, and that was just incredible. And this could be a coincidence, of course. However, I made another 6 wishes, and I will share them all with you, but not in this podcast. Let me know if you're interested. Today, let me just share 2 more manifestations which happened to me in these 48 hours during my experiment with the sleeping bag and the knife. And those were, one manifestation was that I I was hungry on the second morning. I was really hungry because the day before I ate just one Canarian orange. That is something between an orange and a lemon. Um, and it tastes sour sweet. So the next day I was very hungry and I had a banana. So my plan was to eat that banana at the moment when I'm like truly, really starving, hungry, and eat it really slowly, enjoy every bite of it, just like I did the day before when I ate that orange. And then I smelled this beautiful smell of freshly baked bread. And when I smelled that, I I I went like crazy. I was salivating, and I imagined this fresh bread, and I wished it so much. I didn't I didn't think I didn't really wish. I mean, yes, I did wish for it, but I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask the universe, give me bread or something like this, like I did with the candles. I just visualized it, and I thought how wonderful it would be to eat freshly baked bread. And I'm this is incredible, but 2 steps later I saw a paper bag with 2 buns of fresh bread, this morning's bread, and 2 more sweet pastry inside. One of them was broken apart, and one could see that it wasn't baked through, so it was somehow raw, which is why I reckon people didn't want to eat it and just let it. And fortunately, they didn't throw it away. Just put it on the street for somebody to find. I think for me it was like for me to find, and I was so incredibly immensely grateful for that universe's gift. That's what I would put it. There was another negative manifestation, and that was when I walked a path. Actually, I walked off a path looking for a place to sleep, and I saw that on my right and on my left side there were like those bushes with needles, like those tiny little needles, which are really, oh, I'm sorry, not knowing the word, the correct English term for those needles, but quite dangerous in the sense that those tiny little needles were so small that when they get into your finger, it takes several. It can take several like days or a week until it's gone, because you can't really take them off. You can with a pincet, but not really with your fingers, because my fingers are too thick to grasp it, to grab it. And if you try to pull it out of your finger, it usually breaks, and then a little end of it will stay in the finger, and it will hurt for a week or something. And then I saw them, and I thought, I mustn't step into one, and I mustn't fall into one. And then the next step, literally the next step, I stepped into one. And I was so shocked about that. It was so weird, like how they grow here and here, not there where I'm walking. But what happened was a piece of them must have fallen away apart and just be there on the road for me to step on. And this could also be, of course, a coincidence, and I'm not arguing with that. However, if you're familiar with Joe Dispenza's work with positive thinking, if that resonates with you, then welcome to my blog, welcome to this podcast. This is something I will be more and more talking about, I think, but mainly about finding your truest authentic self, finding love towards yourself and your life, love towards others, and learning to be emotionally intelligent. By that I mean that I want to empower you to find the strength and the power in yourself to manage your emotions, Nobody can harm you. Nobody can harm you unless you let them. And that is not victim blaming. In the opposite, this is empowerment. And that is my message. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you want to hear more of on this podcast, and talk to you next week.